Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask the TradeStation Experts. Right now, I have a slide up of our TradeStation Masterclass. If you were here this morning, you probably heard this already, but I want to encourage everyone to think about attending our Masterclass. It's an in-person live event, 5 days of full education on TradeStation, strategy trading, and easy language. In addition to that, you get to network with other TradeStation users and learn how they use the platform to trade. We have also invited an incredible lineup of professional traders that are going to showcase or share with us, their methodology and how to analyze the markets. And it's going to be a great opportunity for you to learn from how the pros are doing it. That's for the masterclass, and also for the Option Stars event. If you trade options, make sure that you think about joining us in California for the Option Stars on October 5th. All right. Every symbol and idea that I talk about here today is for demonstration purposes only. It is not a recommendation of TradeStation. Active trading is not suitable for everyone. If you'd like to read more about these disclosures, go to TradeStation.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you'll find the disclosures there. And I think Nico is also sharing the disclosures here in the chat. The links to the masterclass and the link to the Option Stars event are already in the chat. Please click on those links and it'll give you more information about the event. All right. Let's go to TradeStation and let's start taking some questions. I think my TradeStation is a little bit small on the screen, so I'm going to try to see if I change my screen resolution if I get a better result. So let me go here to display settings. And this is running at 1080 by 1920 by 1080, but I'm going to make this maybe 125, which is the recommended. Let me see how that works. All right, I think that looks better. Just a tad better. It's not much better. Okay. So, well, this is your time to start asking some questions. So I'm open to anything you want to talk about. And thank you for sending in your comments here. We have about 20 people in class. So let's get this started. Let me close out of some of this Facebook positions that I opened up earlier. I'm just going to right click on these position graph bars and closing them at market. And I'm also going to close this Twitter call. All right, so I'm left with just my Cisco. I know that earlier, Dan had mentioned that he's trying to do a walk forward optimization. And I don't see a question associated with it. So if you can clarify what exactly is it that you want to know about the walk forward optimization, I can probably give you a little bit of guidance here. Let's open up a chart here. Apps, chart analysis. And as I go along, maybe you guys can think of a few questions. Okay, this is a chart of Facebook. Okay. I see a question here from Claudia. Thank you for submitting your question. How do I make a short sale of shares with a target and a stop? Now, Claudia, I'm not sure if you have used multiple order entry tools in TradeStation. Is there a preference? Is there one of them that you like to see it on? Like, for example, do you like the matrix or do you like the trade bar? Because that type of setup you can pretty much do on any application. You can do it on charts. You can do it on the matrix. You can do it on the trade bar. So which tool would you like to see this on? Let me start up my TradeStation because I'm getting some graphics issues. Not sure if you see them, but I see double toolbars and things that are not working properly. So let me pull up my TradeStation again. Okay. I see your question about not minding seeing it on a chart. So that's exactly where we're going to show it. Let me just log into my TradeStation again. All right. Let's see. What? I'm sorry?
It's gone away. Yeah, it's like, something covering.
Yes. I'm not sure what that was, but let's open up a chart. Here we go. And let's pull up, I didn't see any symbols in the question, so let's pull up something that we haven't traded, that we don't have a position on. Let's do Bank of America. Let me open up my chart. All right. In order for you to trade something short with a target and a stop, we're going to use chart trading. So we do have to enable that utility in order to use it. At the top of the chart, one of the toolbar buttons, it's titled or named Chart Trading. I click on it, and it'll enable a trade bar on the right side of my chart. And I thought that I hadn't traded this, but I do see an order here. Let me cancel that out. Right here on the trade bar, I see a yellow that says cancel all. How do I know that I traded this? Because I see this blue line right here at the bottom. I think that in my morning class, I submitted an order to buy Bank of America at $30.25. So I'm just going to click on this yellow button to cancel all those active orders and then start from scratch. I see Bank of America, current price of Bank of America, it's $30.33. Let's say that I'm going to short this. If it goes up to $30.40. So this is the way that I would set that up. First of all, if you want to do everything in one trade, you have to be able to attach your exits to your entries. And we do that with the use of this checkbox that is named Attach OSO. This is an order sense order, which means that you have a primary order, which is going to take you and sell short. You establish a short position, but at the same time, that short position is going to have these exits attached. One in your favor if it goes, in your favor and makes money, and another if it goes against you, you have something to protect yourself. So let's go ahead and set that up. Right here in this drop down, you have multiple exit brackets that you can attach to your entry. We're going to do it. We're going to do a simple one. And I call a simple one the one that has just one exit in your favor and one exit when it goes against you. That is the very top one on this list of templates. It's an exit bracket with one limit and one stop. At this point, you can click on the little ellipsis button on the right-hand side to modify the distance of these targets and these stops. You can do it now, or you can do it later once the orders are already in the chart and you can click and drag, whichever it's easier for you. Let me go ahead and click on the ellipsis and show you both ways. So let's suppose that I'm going to short Bank of America if it goes up to $30.40. So I'm going to set a target of, let's do I'm going to buy, let's say I'm going to buy 1,000 shares. So 20 cents would be $200. I'm going to do a target of 20 cents. And I'm going to do a stop of 10 cents. So take a look at the way that I'm setting the offset here. This is just how far away from the entry price of your order do you want to set your target and your stop. So think of in terms of how the distance or the price difference between your entry and the actual target and your stop. In this case, I want a 20-cent target and a 10-cent stop. This is using bar settings and duration settings. That's okay. One more thing that I'd like to do over here is change the duration to a GTC. If you leave the duration in day, the order will be canceled at the end of the day. And sometimes if you're looking for a specific target or a specific stop, and those orders or that target and the stop doesn't get reached today, you may want to leave the order active for the following day. Today's Thursday, you have a chance tomorrow, which is Friday. Maybe on Monday, you want to come back and see if it's hit your target or your stop. So most of the time when you do this type of trades, you do GTC, unless you want to get out of the trade at the close of the day. You know, sometimes traders don't want to leave any open positions overnight, so you would want a day order so it gets canceled at the end of the day. But this is a tricky part, because you may get filled on the short, and if you then cancel your stop and your targets, that doesn't close your short. You're still short. So always keep an eye on your positions and what's happening to them and how you can remove them if you don't want them at the end of the day. So in this case, I'm just selecting that specific bracket, and all I need to do is I need to submit my order. So I'm going to trade at $30.40. I'm going to do that by holding down my Alt key. There's two keys on your keyboard that you have to pay attention to or consider when you're trading on a chart. It is the Control key and the Alt key. The Control key is when you want to buy. The Alt key is when you want to sell. So if I'm doing a short trade, I'm going to hold down the Alt key and click somewhere in this area where the $30.40 are. I'm going to click and hold just in case I have to move my mouse up and down to be a little bit more precise on the price. Because sometimes you may think that you're clicking on the right place, but you're really a penny higher or a penny lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold. I click and hold, and now it gives me a chance to move up and down. And as soon as I see the price on that data tips window, I see at $30.40. I'm going to release the mouse pointer, and that sends the order to sell short. I want you to take a look at what happened here. My sell short is that red line that you see displayed on my chart. It says it's a red line and it says L500. Sorry if it's a little bit too small on the screen, but the L just means that it's a limit order. It's a limit order for 500 shares. I forgot to change the quantity to 1,000. Something that I said earlier is that I want to buy 1,000 shares, and I forgot to adjust the quantity up here, so I only have 500 shares. I can, cancel and replace it, but for now, let's just leave it the way it is. So I have a short trade right here for 500 shares, and you see the price right here, $30.40. You see the stop. See the STM right there on that gray line stands for stop market, STM, for 500 shares. The line is gray because the order is queued. If it were active at the moment, it would be blue. Why is it queued and not active? Because you have not gotten filled on that entry order. And you see the target down here for the 500 shares. The L is a limit order. The price is $30.20. So the prices are exactly what we wanted. The target is exactly 20 cents lower, and the stop loss is 10 cents higher than my entry price. All right, so hopefully that answers the question. There's more different variations of this. So if you want to see another type of trade, let me know right here in the chat, and I'll make sure to answer it. Okay. All right. Okay, Mark is asking, if I have a target price on the underlying stock, how do I estimate the price of an option? All right. So let's say, for example, that we get filled here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my limit price by clicking and dragging that line. I'm going to bring it down to 30.34. Okay. As soon as I do that, I get filled. Let's open this up a little bit. Okay. Notice as soon as I get filled, the red or the line that was red turns yellow because now it's not an order. It's an actual position. And you can see the entry price right here, $30.34. That's your entry price. On that same line, you have some information about the P&L, and you also have information about your position. Notice the lines that was above and below. They're not gray anymore. Now they're blue because blue is a buy order. And since we're short, the exit order has to be a buy order. But inside parentheses, you see the potential P&L. So on the stop, we have 50, and on the target, we have $100. But I was going to do something to this, and I totally forgot. Okay, you were asking about estimated price of options. You know, from this view, I'm not really sure that you can get an estimated price of an option. What I recommend you do, Mark, is to have OptionStation Pro loaded somewhere else, and then you can see the actual price of the option that you're interested in. You know, if you have a target which is going to buy at $30.14, I see the price right here. Maybe that is the price or the strike price that you're looking for in the actual option. You know what I'm saying? So Bank of America is trading at $30.37. You have a target at $30.14. So you may want to trade a strike somewhere in the vicinity of $30, maybe 29, maybe 29.5, or even 30.5. Where do we see the options? Well, I'm going to go here to apps and load up OptionStation Pro. Okay, let's give this a few seconds until it loads. Okay, so it loads up OptionStation Pro. It threw me into a analysis tab because that was the one that I was looking last when I had, OptionStation Pro opened. But I'm going to come down here to the Options tab, and I'm going to change the symbol to the one that I'm looking at the moment, which is Bank of America. It loads Bank of America, and depending on how long you're holding that position, if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, you have weekly options up here, and you have the ones that are monthly, which expire, on August 16th of 2019. But notice the strike prices here. We have 29.5, 30, and 30.5. Calls are on the left, puts are on the right, and you have the actual price of the option right in here. So this is the best way to do an actual price comparison when you're trading options, just to pull up OptionStation Pro and see various aspects of your position, how long you're holding it, what price is it trading at, and if it's a put or a call that you want to get yourself into. So all that information is right here on this screen. Let's see. All right, so here we have a question from Godwin Obel. How do you make a window bar vanish completely? All right, Godwin, I'm not really sure what you mean by the window bar. Are you talking about the title bar? Window bar. So if you have a little bit more information, because this bar that you see on top, the title bar, yes, you can hide it. A lot of people don't like to hide that, though. They like to see the title bar on the top. TradeStation by default will always show the title bar on the active window. Active window. So this is the way that it is set by default. I'm going to have to change my preferences so that you can see the default. So it's in the view menu, and I'm going to show the title bar only on the active window. So the way that it works, let me open up another chart here on my TradeStation. And I'm going to arrange the windows side by side. They are already. So take a look. On the chart on the left, I have a title bar. And the chart on the right, I don't. But if I click on this chart, notice what happens up here. I'm going to click on the chart and see the title shows up. That's the way that TradeStation works by default. Now, I have my TradeStation set differently because I like to see my title bars all the time. I don't like those title bars to be an auto hide or only visible on the active window. I want them visible for all windows. So what I do is I go to the File menu, I go to Preferences, and then I go to the Desktop Preferences, so that in the View menu, I select this option that says Show the title bar on windows selected above. And if you look at the section above, all my windows are selected, so they're all displayed. I click OK, and now I have a title bar here on the left, and I have a title bar here on the right-hand side, always visible. Okay, so hopefully that helps. If it's not what you're looking for, let me know in the chat exactly what is it that you're wanting to hide. Okay, it seems like Dan has no sound, so some of you have confirmed that sound is okay, so I'm just going to continue and assume that the sound, maybe there was just a quick hiccup on the internet. Okay, so a question from Alex B. Jesus, can you please give a brief demo of chart trading using keyboard shortcuts only? Interesting question, Alex, and I like that feature. So let's go ahead and showcase that here on my screen. All right, so first of all, the way that I submitted these orders that I have on the screen is by using the Control and the Alt. But what Alex is referring to is a new keyboard functionality that we've added to the TradeStation chart trading application. So I'm going to cancel all these orders by clicking on the yellow button here, and I'm going to close my position by clicking on the green button. These are quick ways for you to not only cancel active orders, but also close a position right now at market without delay. So that's what the close green button does. It closes your position. I'm also going to enable a feature here called keyboard trading. That's what Alex is referring to. I put a check here. I get this little disclosure that I'm going to just read and then click on enable. Well, I know what it says. I'm not going to read it right now, but it's a good disclosure because it's pretty much warning you that you're turning on order execution by using the keyboard, and just be careful, okay? Because there are some keyboard keys that are already programmed for you. If you want to see those keys, just click on the little button next to that place where you enabled the keyboard trading, and this comes up. This is the dialog that allows you to set the keys that you want to use in order to trade. You can see some of the keys are, I'm not sure if I was the one who assigned these keys or if they were already created, but here's a buy or cover at market, which is Alt B, or buy cover at limit, Control B. So Control B to do a limit, Alt B to do a market order. Then I have a delete, which cancels the selected order, Alt X to close the position, place OC. I think I assigned these keys. If you want to change any of these key combinations, I selected Alt B because B, it's the first initial of buy. So it's a good way for me to remember that if I press Control B, it buys at limit, and Alt B is at market. So let's see if you want to set it for the sell. Like, for example, right here, sell at market. I'm going to add, and I'm going to do Alt for the market order with an S for sell. Once I click OK, you can see that Alt S appears right there as the hotkey combination that is going to generate a sell or a sell short at market. If I want to do a limit, then I turn this on, which is a sell short limit. I'm going to add it. This will be Control, and we'll do an S. Click OK, and that gets added to my screen as well. So the way that it works, once you select the hotkeys that you want to use for the type of orders that you're sending, just click OK. And let me go back in there because I wanted to show you a couple things that are already assigned to the hotkeys. Let me go back into the menu, because one of the things that I'm going to use is the price increase. Notice how if you press the down arrow or the up arrow, that is going to increase or decrease the price by 1 tick. But if you do Control down arrow, it's 5 ticks. And if you do Alt down arrow, it's going to be 10 ticks. the quantity can also be changed with a page up or page down. I'll show you how that works, and you'll see how cool that is, okay? But first of all, let me go ahead and send that a market order. We set a market order. We set them to the Alt key. So I'm going to do Alt B, and it's going to send that order for me. Now, I want you to notice something that happened, and this is something that you guys have to be careful of, is whenever you have that checkbox checked for attach OSO, every time you trade, it's going to send a bracket for you. I did not realize that I had the check here for attach OSO. So when I sent that market order to buy at 30.35, it sent a target at 30.55, which is 20 cents. Remember that we had set it to 20 cents? And it sent a stop at 10 cents at $30.25, which is okay. If you want the behavior to be like that, you're welcome to do so. So let's go ahead and cancel the orders. What was the hotkey to cancel the order? Control X. No? Alt X? Okay, Alt X does something. So let me go and check to see what it does. Alt X closes the position. So Alt X closes the position. Delete cancels the selected order. If you want to cancel all open orders, let's do a Control X. I'm going to do Control X. So we have Control X to cancel all orders and Alt X to close the position. We can do that. All right. So if I want to just do a one trade, let me go ahead and uncheck the attach OSO. I'm going to press Control B on my keyboard. Not Control B, sorry. Escape. I'll show you that later. I'm going to do Alt B on my keyboard. That buys 500. I'm going to do Alt S on my keyboard. That closes my position. Remember? Alt B, I set it to buy at market. Alt S, I set it to sell at market. And since I don't have confirmations enabled, it does it automatically. As soon as I do Alt B, you can see the position right there. It has 500 shares. And I do Alt S, it gets rid of it. So this is very cool functionality. Let me show you the limit order because I think that's very useful as well. If I do Control B to buy, this is where it gets really cool because notice what happens. I did Control B and it displays this blue line, which is not an order. It's just a display of where the order is going to be. And it's not until you hit the Enter key that the order is submitted. But the fact that I have this line here and this little box here giving me the details of the order allows me to make modifications to the order before it goes through. So let's say, for example, that I want my entry price to be $29.30. You see where the price is, $29.29? I'm just going to press my up arrow key and notice how it changes to $30.30. I can press it again and it changes to $30.31. So I can use the up arrow key and you can see how the line moves up and down on the chart. If you do Control and up, it'll go by 5 cents. See? It jumps every 5 cents. And if you do Alt and up, it'll jump every 10 cents. So up and down arrow, tick by tick, Control up every 5 ticks, and Alt up every 10 ticks. So let me set my entry to 30.29, and I can also use the page up and page down to change the quantity. Let me say page up here. Notice how it changes to 600. Page up, page up, page up, page up if I want to do 1,000. And page down, of course, to reduce the quantity. But once you have the order the way you want, just hit the Enter key and the order goes through. You can see how the blue line is right there at the bottom of the screen. Great feature. Use it. Set your own hotkeys. As long as you see this yellow outline around the trade bar and you see this yellow circle, you know that keyboard trading is enabled. I can come down here, uncheck it, and then it disables keyboard trading. All the orders remain the way that I placed them. Okay, let's see. Oh, a whole bunch of questions came in all of a sudden. Okay, so from Godwin, in my position for options, how do I see the Greeks and how do I see the price of the underline in the web? All right. So you're talking about web trading, which is maybe a little bit different than OptionStation Pro. So in your options, I don't think you can. Let me pull up my web trading experience right here on this laptop. Let me pull it up here. Let me go to TradeStation. Okay, right here, I'm going to go to login, my simulated trading. I'm going to log in right there. It's going to disconnect my TradeStation, but let me just go there. So if you go to your positions, I'm in my positions right here. Let's see. I am going to open up an options trade. So let me go on this tab and click on options. Let's see, option chain. I have one already open, is right here. Let me maximize this for a moment. Let's do Bank of America. Let's say that I buy this call right here. Okay, I'm going to buy it at market. Send the orders. I'm just confirming to see if you can find the Greeks in there. Now, if I go back to my positions, I have my call right there. I see all this information about the call, but what you're looking for is the Greeks. Okay, I don't see Greeks in here, so I'm going to click on the little gear. And Greeks is not one of the values that we provide in the web trading experience, so we don't have it available. If you want to see Greeks on open positions, you're going to have to go to the TradeStation platform and open up OptionStation Pro, okay? Let me log in here. Okay. Let's see. Is there a question from 1 AM Amped? Is there a way to see if you can short a stock in TradeStation 10? There is a list that TradeStation publishes every single day that gives you a list of every stock that can be shorted. It's called the Easy to Borrow list. It's not in the platform, though. So in order for you to see it, you have to pull up a browser, go to TradeStation.com. You're going to have to log in to the Client Center. But once you log into the Client Center, let me pull in my information in here. Once you are in the Client Center, under Quick Links, there's one that says Easy to Borrow List. When you click there, it gives you the whole list right here. It tells you some information about how many symbols can be shorted, how many symbols have been added, and how many symbols have been removed. You can see those specific lists if you want to. You can search by a symbol here if you want to see if it can be shorted or not. And if you want to short something that you don't see here, once you go to the TradeStation platform, there is an application called, I'll tell you in a moment, it's called the Intraday Short Locate right here. This is a button that allows you to contact the trade desk so that they can facilitate the short trade for you. So that's the way to do it. All right. Let's see. From Godwin, order position and balance. When you close it, it still has the options to select the one of them. When you close it, it still has the options to select the one of them. Not really sure what you mean, Godwin. I'm not sure if you're asking a question or just stating something to me. I'm not really sure what you mean. If you could paraphrase or repeat your question, it would help me try to understand. Let's go to next question here while you write that up. Vince G, can I have OptionStation Pro and a chart side by side, or I have to load TradeStation again on another PC. No, TradeStation and OptionStation Pro are both using the same connection. So you can pull them up on the same computer. I have them open on my computer at the same time. So technically, I could bring up my TradeStation. Let me see if I can set that up here. I'm going to make my TradeStation be right here on the left-hand side and my OptionStation Pro right here on the right-hand side. You see, I have the two applications side by side, and I'm able to look at my options. Let me show you one more thing since I'm here in this particular view. I'm going to link my chart to my OptionStation Pro so that every time I click on an option, I can see the historical prices of that option. You see up here in OptionStation Pro where you have this yellow global link, you can go to the drop down and you can see that it says, well, you can't because I'm covering with my camera. Let me disable my camera for a moment. And right here on the top, I can go to the drop down and you can see that it says yellow global symbol link. And it allows you to create these links between different platforms, specifically, TradeStation platforms. I'm going to do the same thing here on the chart. I'm just going to click on the drop down and select a yellow local, a yellow global symbol link because it's across platforms. And let me show you something really, really nice. Let's say, for example, that I want to see the prices of this call with a strike price of 30. I don't click on the bid and ask because you know that will generate a trade in OptionStation Pro, but I click on another cell on that same row. For example, if I click on this open interest, take a look. This is my chart of the call with a strike price of 30. And this is a historical chart. So I can see all the historical prices of that particular call. If you want to select another one, let's say that I want to see all the prices for this 29 one. I just click over here and I get the price fluctuations of that one. So whenever you create these types of global links, you can have TradeStation and OptionStation side by side so that you can see the historical trading prices of any option. Okay. A question from Mark C. In order to receive alerts via email to text message, I understand I need to keep TradeStation running. Yes, Mark C. That's a very interesting question, and you are correct. If you set up an alert on the TradeStation desktop, the desktop needs to be running in order for it to receive real-time data and trigger the alert when the criteria is met. So if you're looking to get alerts on the go, I would recommend you set them on your mobile device. If you're setting up alerts that are a little bit more complex, let's suppose that you're setting up alerts on technical studies, maybe you're monitoring a moving average crossover, those are only possible on the desktop at this moment. The mobile device allows you to set up alerts on volume, on price, on percent change, values like that. So if you're setting up alerts on those, I would suggest that you do them on the mobile device because those don't need to be running because they are set up on the TradeStation server. And when the criteria is met, we'll send you a push notification to your phone, even if your phone is locked. You'll see it as a notification for an email, like a notification for a text. We use the same notification system, but that's only on the mobile device. So the desktop, just to reiterate, we do need to keep the desktop open in order for those alerts to be triggered. Okay. A question from Dave. Example. Not running out of time, right? I still have time. Nico, do you have the time? I have time. Okay. From Dave. I entered a trade manually, but now I want to quickly enable a strategy to trade out of the position based on the logic in the strategy. Great question, Dave. And I'm going to show you how to set that up here in TradeStation. So let me open up a new workspace. In fact, let me maximize my TradeStation since I don't need to have them side by side here. Okay, and I'm going to pull up something that I have a position on. I have a position on Bank of America. All right, so this is Bank of America. Do you remember when I entered that position is right there? I have 1,000 shares of Bank of America. Let's suppose that I have a strategy based on, let me put up a study here. Add a study, and I'm going to add a moving average. Moving average one line. Where is it? There it is. Okay, and I'm going to make that moving average a 30 bar moving average. All right, so let's suppose, well, I'm in a long position, so if I wanted that line to be below, but you can do all sorts of managing lines here. Let's see, let me go to something different and see if I can make this work for us. Okay. Take a look at that. Let's take a look at this position. This is Twitter. Let me open up my chart more so that you can see it more. Okay. I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of Twitter at market right now. Okay, so that shows my position right there. Let's suppose that we want to set up a strategy now so that if Twitter, oh, that wasn't a good example either. I did say that I want the moving average below, and that's exactly above like the other one. All right. So what we'll do is reverse the position. Okay, so I'm long 1,000 shares of Bank of America. Let me go ahead and reverse this. So now I'm short. So let's say, for example, that I want to automate this. And I want to be able to exit my short position if it crosses above that average. That is something that TradeStation can do with the help of a strategy. So let me go ahead and go to Studies, Add Strategy, and here we go to another component that we can add. And in this case, I'm going to look for my moving average cross. Moving average cross. And we're going to do the exits here. I'm going to select both. The LX is for the long exit, and the SX is for the short exit. So one exits when you have a long position, the other exits when you have a short position. A lot of the strategy components right here in TradeStation have these letters letting you know what they're used for. LX, long exit. SX, short exit. LE, it's a long entry. And SE is a short entry. So I'm going to put those in. I have to change those to 30 because it'll match my moving average that I put on the chart. 30 bars and 30 bars. And I have one more thing to do. I have to go to properties for all, go to automation. I have to enable this little radio button that says strategy will fill non-historical orders only when the trade manager reports them as filled, because down here I have the ability to adopt the real world position for the current account. So this is very important. Adopt the real world position for the current account. Once I click OK, I come over here and I turn on automation. I'm going to automate this using my simulated account, and I want confirmations to be turned off so that as soon as it crosses, it takes me out. When I close, that's all you need to do. Let me see what happened here. Okay, window linking was disabled. I just got a pop-up message, but that's fine. I want you to take a look at the information that is displayed right here on the chart because this is really important. You have multiple arrows here. One tells you that you're negative 100 at market, and the other, I'm not sure if you see the word there, but it says assume SE, assume short entry. This is pretty much a strategy that is monitoring that position, and it's going to exit if it crosses on the other side of that moving average. If you're running this on TradeStation, you have to leave it open, and TradeStation has to be connected to the internet. But if I come here to the Trade Manager, let me show you something else here. Let me go to Apps and click on Trade Manager. In the Trade Manager, you're going to find some tabs here, and you find strategy orders and strategy positions. And when you look at the strategy position, the strategy is also short 1,000. See, right over here in the strategy positions, this is a tab of the Trade Manager that only shows information if you're running a strategy. Otherwise, it doesn't have anything. But since I inserted the strategy and I turned it on for automation, now I see that my strategy is short 1,000, and my open position, which is my real account, is also short 1,000, which means that the position match. The strategy sees the position and is going to exit if there's a crossover on the moving average as the strategy is looking for. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies that, Dave. A question from Mark. Let's say I'm long IBM and I think it is getting overbought. I think the price may get to 160, and at that point I want to sell the 155 and 160 call spread. How do I estimate the price of that vertical? That's a good question, Mark. Let's take a look, because pricing of the actual spread or that vertical, it's a little challenging. Let me see if we can do it right here in OptionStation Pro. Okay, right here, let me maximize this window. Let's say that I pull up IBM, the example that you mentioned. Let me pull up verticals here. Let's say the 155 and the 160. Let's go into strikes. You can do singles and then select them individually. So let me do a vertical here with the 155 and the 160. So I'm going to click on the 155. I'm going to hold down the control key and click the 160. So this is the vertical down here that you're talking about. But you only want to get into this trade if IBM is trading at 160. That's a good oh, my battery's running low. Forgot to plug in my laptop, so give me just a second until I plug it in so that I don't lose power. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. So here, the pricing right here is being priced at 50 cents. You know, you have the natural, which is 54, and you got the mid price, which is 50 cents. So what I think Mark is saying is that you want a way of knowing what the price of this option would be if you were to trade this when IBM goes up to $160. Maybe in the analysis tab, let me go ahead and analyze this trade. All right. We have some pricing here, because you can change the price of the option right here and start doing some simulations. Let me go ahead and remove some of these simulations, and I'm going to add one slice that says if IBM goes to 160, this is what the theoretical P&L would be. You would make about $276, but this doesn't give you the price of the option. The price of the option is down here, and I think that's what you're asking. You want to know, if it reaches 160, what would the price of this vertical be? Because I know that I can come here and say, well, what would the valuation if it's 75 cents? You know, if you change the price of this spread to 75, notice how it changes here. So you do have the ability to create all these different scenarios of what would happen, not only if the underlying goes to a certain price, but if the price of the option goes to a certain price. But an estimated value, I don't think we can do that. I'm going to make a note of that because for my own interest, I would like to find out. Okay. And Mark, if you can send that same question over to me to this email address, learning@tradestation.com. I'll see if I can, once I research it, I'll find out if that's something that we can do. All right, so how can you set the limit sell? This is a question from Blaze. Thank you for the question. If you want to do a sell limit, you just come over here to TradeStation. Not sure where you're doing this. Whenever you're submitting questions, please be as detailed as possible as to what order entry tool you're using. But over here, if I have a position open, I have Bank of America right here. Bank of America, notice that I'm hovering over it. I got this at $30.28. Right now, the price is $30.32, but I'm short. Let's say that I want to, let's go with my Cisco. We can do it with any, if it's a short or a long. You know, a short trade, if you want to send a limit order, it would be at a profit. Let's suppose that if Bank of America goes to $30, I want to get out. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to right click and I'm going to close this Bank of America position, but I'm going to customize at the TradeStation trade bar. And over here, this is going to be a buy to cover 1,000. And here I have the limit. I can choose the type of order that I want. In this case, I just want a limit order. And I want to send it at $30 even. If it goes to $30, I want to sell that. I click on buy to cover. And the order is received. You can see that it says received right here. If I want to be sure, I just go here to the orders tab of the trade manager. And the very top one, see how it's buy to cover 1,000 shares at a price of 30. So hopefully that answers the question. And you can do the same thing on any order entry tool. If it's chart trading or the matrix, you can send all these limit orders. Okay. This is a question from Godwin. I want to trade non-listed OTC penny stocks, but I cannot watch it. Does automation still work on them? You know, OTC stocks are a little tricky to trade. You cannot trade them directly on the platform. So to answer that question directly, no, you cannot. In order for you to trade OTC non-listed penny stocks, you would have to call the trade desk. The trade desk is the one that facilitates the purchase and sale of OTC. So you cannot, at this time, you cannot automate a strategy using OTC stocks. This is a question from SDKHNDS. Not sure if there's a pronunciation to that. Is there a way to print the guide for keyboard trading?
I responded to him.
And you said what?
I sent him the help section. Control P.
Is there a whole keyboard layout there?
Yeah.
For keyboard trading, or is it for hotkeys?
It's for this specifically keyboard trading.
Okay, so I didn't know we had a...
There's sub pages.
Excellent. So yes, perfect. Thank you for that, Nico. Let's see. Okay. Is that it? Do we have more questions? Yes, I have a couple more there at the bottom. From Dave. Thanks for showing strategy, but is there a way to apply or enable an automated strategy using keyboard shortcuts without having to click a bunch of dialogues? Wow, that's a tricky question. And in order for you to automate a strategy, TradeStation is going to make you go through hoops in order to set it up. Why? Because of security reasons. I know that if you have if you want to disable all these different confirmations, you would want an option to disable them. But as a broker, we're required to always display all these different dialogues and disclosures so that you are aware of what is happening. So to answer your question, no, there's no way for you to have a hotkey to enable or disable or apply an automated strategy. It's always a little tricky thing to do, and you do have to check and click OK to all those different check boxes and all the different dialogues to make sure that that is exactly what you want to do. And last question from Godwin. You cannot have two TradeStations login at the same time. How can you leave it open to get notification on your phone? Well, that's the beauty of TradeStation, that the notifications of the mobile device does not need to be logged in. Once you have the application installed and you log in at least once, doesn't have to be connected all the time, TradeStation will send the notification to you without you having to log into the application. So you don't necessarily need two username and passwords. But let me try to repeat that just in case it was not clear enough. You can be connected on your TradeStation desktop at home on your computer, and you can have all your different alerts and automated strategies and so forth. If you only have one username and password, that's right, you can leave that TradeStation connected. You will still receive push notifications on your mobile device because, on your mobile device, on any order that gets filled or any alert that you have set up on your mobile device without needing to log in. Hopefully that's clear. So yes, you don't need two username and passwords. Now, this is the if. If you get a push notification saying, hey, Jesus, you just got filled on this order, and now I want to go and open up the app so that I can log in and check it, that I cannot do. Because if I try to do that, it'll disconnect my desktop, But by only having the application installed on your mobile device, you are already set up to receive push notifications using the notification system of your phone without being logged down on your phone. All right. So thank you, everyone. I think this is the end of this class. I want to appreciate the time you all spent with me. Again, I use this time to make the announcement that we're doing the TradeStation Masterclass in August, and we're doing Option Stars in October. So please check those out in the links that Nico has sent right there in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and I hope to see you in a future class. Next week, we're doing all our classes, right, Nico?
Yep, full week.
So we have the full week. We're going to be here on Tuesday at 10:30, showing you the TradeStation desktop. On Wednesday at 10:30, showing you Option Station Pro. And on Thursday, again, we're going to do web and mobile. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do Ask the Experts, which is this session. Is repeated every Tuesday at 12 and every Thursday at 12. So make sure that you join us if you want to ask more questions, or just if you're interested in seeing what other people are asking. I think it's a great way to learn about the platform. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.